Okay, this is the start of the new unit. So welcome everyone, first of all, and also welcome to all the new learners that are joining us today, who have joined up to the mental health certificate qualification. So I'm just going to go through the induction quickly because we've got new students on board today. So before we start, I just want to show recognition for the traditional owners of the land. So in the spirit of reconciliation, Hattah Institute of Education acknowledges the traditional custodians of country throughout Australia and their connections to land, sea and community. We recognise Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people as the first inhabitants of the nation and the traditional custodians of the land on which we work, live and study. We express our gratitude for the sharing of this land, our sorrows for the personal, spiritual, and cultural costs of that sharing, and hope that we may move forward together in harmony and in the spirit of healing. We pay our respects to all First Nations people and acknowledge elders past, present, and emerging. Okay, let me just check how many people we've got. Okay, excellent. All right, just a couple of ground rule, guys, before we start. When you are not speaking, so there'll be opportunities where you can answer questions and all that sort of thing. I just needed you guys to stay on mute while that's happening because I can hear the echo from my voice from the other end as well, and it just disrupts the session. Also, to have your camera on at all times, unless you're driving, please, because we need to make these sessions as interactive as we possibly can. And if I'm just talking to black screens, it's not going to really do much favor for anyone involved. So this unit has more than 8 units. Rainy, how much did I have again? I think it was 10 or 15. 15.
There's 15 units.
That's right. So yeah, I've got to get that fixed up. So that's 15 units for this qualification. There are two assessment methods for every unit. So it will either be, as you can see on the screen, written quizzes, Q&A, reports, research, or presentations. And then we've got the other one, which are the recorded role plays or the real-time role plays, which we'll go through throughout today's session. If you need any support, reach out to Learner Support, which is lso@hattainstitute.edu.au. You can book in study sessions once a month, or if you need extra support, you can always reach out for extra support as well. You'll get 2 recordings from my classes, so you'll get the recording for the live session, which we are doing at the moment, and the pre-recording session that I do before the class, which goes through the content in a more thorough manner, where I speak to the screen on my own. You'll get the recording for that session as well tomorrow, hopefully in one email. And also there will be links to other videos that are related to the topic that we'll be covering today. Each unit has a learner guide for each unit. They're about 200 to 300 pages long. They cover the whole content of the unit. They'll help you out with all the answers and all the support that you require for each assessment as well. So it's probably the best place to go to when you're doing your assessments. Attempt written assessment task in your portal and submit. Some have supporting documents to fill in. So yeah, so some of the written assessments will ask for other things like case notes, completing case notes and completing email templates and all that sort of stuff. The role plays will come with extra tasks as well. So just make sure you read each instruction properly and make sure you complete all the work that's necessary. Prepare and record role plays as to the instructions. Now, this is an ongoing issue that I am having and all the other trainers are having. Some learners are not reading or listening to the instructions as they are set on the portal. Whatever instructions are provided is what we need you guys to follow. So if the instructions say you'll be playing the support role, you'll be playing the support role. If the instruction says there will be a client named Bob, then the client's name will be Bob, and you'll need an additional person in the role play with you to perform the role play. You can't do that role play. You can't make adjustments yourself to the role play. So if you're saying, all right, I've got half an hour, I can knock out this assessment. You can't just do it you by yourself. Okay. You can't just talk to a screen and pretend that there's a client behind the screen. It's got to be an actual person. Scripting role plays, another issue that we've been having. You can't just go on ChatGPT and copy and paste the instructions of the role play on ChatGPT and ask for a script, because that's what a lot of learners are doing, and they're not passing them role plays. Because we can easily tell when you're reading off a script. Remember, these role plays are to prove your knowledge and your skill set for the topic. So we want to see if you guys can effectively communicate, problem solve, conflict resolution, active listening, eye contact, all that sort of stuff. We need to see that. If you're reading off a script, you're not going to be able to display that them skills. But by saying that, you can have a script for the person that's helping you out. So for example, if your partner is playing the other role, you can have a script for them, of course. They're not getting assessed. But for yourself, just have some notes in front of you. So you can have a notes about, for example, I would have something like, talk about confidentiality and the privacy agreement, speak about informed consent, make sure you cover the four topics of, for example, four topics of wellness, speak about goals, speak about triggers, and so on. That way, it's more natural and it displays your skills. And we also want to see mistakes. So we want you, the guys, to have some, possibly, because we're all human. So no one has ever run a client, a meeting with a client perfectly. There's always been mistakes. So we want to see you guys have them mistakes and then overcome them as well. We want to see your problem solving skills as well. I know there's a lot to take in with role plays, but once you get one or two completed, you soon realize how easy they are and why they are so beneficial as well. All right, results, turnaround, and feedback. So we aim to have results back by 24 hours, but that's not always the case. So I would probably give that 42 to 72 hours turnaround. There's anywhere between 100 assessments submitted daily. So yeah, we try to do the best we can, but usually between 24 to 72 hours. You get 3 attempts for each assessment. I wouldn't worry too much about the 3 attempts. If you've done 3 attempts for an assessment and you failed 3, all you got to do is contact LSO and they'll give you additional attempts. Okay. So I wouldn't worry too much about the attempts. Extensions, for any reasons, we understand you've got other commitments, hence why you're studying in the afternoon class. So if you need extensions, that's completely fine. Just get in contact with LSO and they'll work with you guys in getting the extension approved. Referencing, plagiarism, and use of AI. So I've spoken a little bit about plagiarism. So you can only use up to 15% of your work. So when I'm talking about work, your report writing, research reports, question and answers, the written assessments, you can only use up to 15% of your work through AI. And if you do use it, you need to reference that work as well. And AI is easily identified as well, even from a naked eye for the trainers. We can see the language being used very similar. So please refrain from using AI. Try to do your own work. If you need support, yes, use AI as well. But we're here to learn. And if you're using AI for all your assessments and all your work, you're not going to be learning much. So if you want to go on that journey of learning and improving ourselves as professionals, then the best way is to actually, to learn properly. Okay. time management. So what we mean by this responsibility for time management is we recommend that you try to complete all the assessments as we go along with the units. So for example, this unit is covered over 3 weeks and there's 4 assessments for this unit. So we recommend that you get them 4 assessments done during the 3 weeks. There's going to be some assessments that you're not going to be able to do, like the workplace assessments. So don't worry about them at the moment if you've just started. The workplace assessments can only be completed if you've completed 50% of the unit, 50% of the assessments. Okay, so just leave that in the background, and you'll have to go back to them on a later date. Study support we've covered. LSO, so contact LSO for any support that you require for technical support, if you need study sessions, if you need help with role play. So if you can't find anyone, or you can't, because of time, you can't get connected with friends or family to help you out with role plays, you get in contact with LSO, and then they will get you in touch with a trainer, or I'm sure you all guys got emails about getting connecting to Discord. So if you get into Discord and go into the mental health qualification, you can write there, you can comment there to say, does anyone want to complete the certain unit or task role play together? And you'll see that there will be other people who need to complete role plays as well. Tony? Yeah.
So I just seen my face as well as a few others when you said about the email.
Oh, you didn't get them?
No.
All right. I've got some attachments. So what I'll do is during our break, I'll try to attach that onto the chat.
Okay, thank you.
All right, and we'll see if you guys can open that up.
Okay, thanks.
Awesome. Okay. Self-care. I'll go through that later. All right. So yeah, so we understand during this time, studying, especially for adults who work, who have other responsibilities, can be very stressful. If you need help, if you need assistance, or you need someone to talk to, you can always reach out to us, or these are the other reputable companies that you can get in contact with. All right, which brings us to our unit. So the unit we're covering is CHCPRP003. Reflect on and improve own professional practice. Now, professional reflection is a very important part of growth in any career, especially in mental health services, community services, and the like. Anything to do with human services. So this unit focuses on self-assessment, continuous learning, and improving work practices to ensure high standards in your delivery when it comes to service. So throughout this session, and also the recorded session that you guys will get a copy of tomorrow, we'll be exploring together strategies for self-reflection, gathering feedback, setting professional development goals, and implementing improvements in our practice. The aim here is to enhance your skills, your knowledge, and effectiveness to better support the individuals and communities and the clients that you work with in there. Before we carry on, let's just look at the assessments for this unit quickly. So, like I mentioned, there are 4 assessments. So the first one is a quiz. So look, so there's 14 questions in the quiz. I will try to go through each question together in our second half of the session. So for the new students and the new learners, I apologize. So the way I run my classes is the first hour, I cover the content for the week. So whatever I need to teach you guys or whatever we need to cover together for the week, for the first hour. The second hour, I look at assessments. So I'll either cover the quizzes, written questions, written answering question or research reports, and try to go through that as much as I can with you guys. And for the third part, I'll either play an example of a role play, or I will play the recorded session, so you guys don't have to catch up on another day, on another time. All right, so we've got this. We also got the second task is a project, which I'll probably cover next week with you guys. The third one is the role play. So I'll definitely cover this with you guys today. So what is expected in the role play, how role plays are done, and
maybe they hasn't misunderstood. That's why I was saying. I think.
and also the project. So we've got a project as well, which we'll cover probably in week 3. I'll probably cover this in week 3. So what my plans are for these 3 weeks is to try to get all your role plays knocked out for this unit. So there's only one role play. So I'm going to try to either next week or the week after organize the last 2 hours of our session to do role plays. Okay. So I need you guys. So how many of you we've got? I've got a few of you here. So it's excellent. All right. So what I'm planning on doing is getting you guys paired up, putting you guys in breakout rooms. Okay. And then you guys will, I'm going to try to, so I'm just going to ask Rainy. Rainy, do you have an option of recording this session on your end?
Me?
Yeah.
I probably do. How do you do that?
You might not.
I do.
Oh, you do?
Do.
Perfect.
What do you want me to do?
No, that's all good. I just want to know if you got the option of recording.
It just says request. It just says request to record to this computer.
Okay.
Do you
Oh,
want
to
me
the computer?
Do you want me to press it to
Yeah,
see
sure,
what
try and press that and see what happens.
Send request to meeting host.
Perfect. Yep. Excellent. All right. I'm just going to decline that.
Yes, wait.
All right. So during the breakout groups next week, I'll need you guys to record the sessions. So I'll go back and watch them later on, because I think at the moment there is 17 of yous. So 17 times 2, that's 34. So to go through 34 role plays tomorrow next in one sitting is impossible. So what I'm going to do is ask you guys to record them, and then I'll assess them later on. Okay. Jody?
Can I just ask, the platform to you record the sessions, does it have to be on the platform that was suggested, or can we do that on Zoom?
Yeah,
Okay.
Zoom's preferred, yeah.
Oh, okay, yep.
I know WebEx is the one they.
WebEx, yeah.
I wouldn't bother with WebEx.
Okay.
Zoom's probably the best platform.
So if I'm working with a family member away, I just send them an invite and then record, and it records both, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Okay, great.
Also with role plays, if it's yourself and the instructions are there will be 3 other people, so there will be a manager, a supervisor, and a client involved in the role play. Your friend that's helping you out can't play all 3 roles, so you actually need 3 other people to be in that role play. So it's got to be you and 3 other people.
Okay.
The only people that can play multiple roles are trainers, and that's last resort. So that's if you guys definitely can't find anyone, you've reached out to all the students and the learners, and you know times just don't match up, and you guys need assistance, then we can make some adjustments. Rainy, did you have a question?
Yeah, I do. What was I going to say? Yeah, that's that. So there's 17 in here tonight, but I'm pretty sure the last couple of weeks we've been missing like at least like 6.
Yeah.
I reckon. So that, yeah, just a heads up.
Yeah, all good. So we'll see. We're definitely going to do the role play assessments next week. I just got to figure out how I'm going to do that. Let me just go through this chat quickly. That's all good, Martin. No problem. Bianca, you're not able to get into the unit yet? CHCPRP003. Just get in contact with LSO. Yeah, get in contact with LSO and they'll activate that for you.
Yep.
All
Could it
right?
be because I did a deferral for like over the Christmas holidays and a little longer because I had like all my kids and I was like going a bit mental myself and I thought it would be better. But then so I deferred it and then I had to like catch up on some stuff. So could it be because I'm a little bit behind?
Possibly.
Mm,
I can't say though, but get in contact with LSO and they'll open it up for you. Definitely.
okay.
Okay. All right. So yes, this is the role play. I'll try to touch on this today. And that's it. There's 4 assessments. Okay. All right, let's go on with the unit. All right, so session 1. So this unit or this week, we were looking at 5 areas. So the first 2 areas is reflective practice and self-evaluation. So reflective practice, where did that go? Reflective practice is I guess it's an intentional process of looking back at our experiences, analyzing the decisions that we have made, and trying to learn from them. It allows you to refine or change your approach and also improve continuously on the way you work. So by engaging in reflective practice, you can identify what worked well in a situation and how and why, and recognize areas where we could have responded a little bit differently, maybe, and learn from the challenges and also our mistakes to avoid repeating them in future as well. Strengthening our ability to make informed, thoughtful decisions in a personal setting as well is very important. Which leads me to self-evaluation. So this self-evaluation is a more structured and a personal assessment of your own performance. So it requires you to critically examine your strengths and your weaknesses and acknowledge your professional achievements and also identify areas of growth as well. So self-evaluation will help you to take ownership of your professional learning and your development in your career, set realistic goals for improvement, and build confidence in your skills and the competencies as well. Okay, and other 3 areas that we'll be looking at during this week. The 4th one is evaluate feedback. So feedback is one of the most powerful tools for learning and development. It provides an insight into your strengths, again, like I mentioned before, and also the areas that you need to improve on. Evaluative feedback is particularly important because it will allow you to measure your performance against established standards, the expectations, and the objectives that are set by the organization. Then we have reflect on feedback. So once you receive feedback, the next step is usually reflecting on it. Some people sit back and think about it critically. Some people want to punch the wall once they get some feedback or constructive feedback. So reflection allows you to critically analyze what message you were given, assess how valid it is, and determine how you can use it to improve yourself or enhance your skills. Reflection is about considering different perspectives, how your actions impact other people, and how they align with the best practice. It also helps identify patterns in your performance and behavior over time. Finally, the last part is improvements. So the ultimate goal of any feedback or reflection is to foster continuous improvement. So acting on feedback will allow you to refine your skills, enhance your effectiveness, and ensure that you are meeting the needs of those that you support. Improvement may involve seeking additional training, refining communication skills, or adjusting the way you work as well. It can also measure setting professional development goals, engaging in mentorship, or adopting new strategies for problem solving. Let's skip this part. All right, let's talk a little bit more about reflective practice. Just ask the group, has anyone ever been part of a reflective practice? A session where more than 2 people are involved and just talking about areas of strengths and areas of improvement and trying to work out goals in how we can improve on them areas. Could be Paul.
Yeah, when I used to work at the power station, every morning there was a 10-minute before work start. Everyone would run through any changes or anything with work health and safety or any of the jobs that they did. It was basically a time to either have a quick complaint or a pat on the back, but every morning we engaged 10 minutes before work.
Oh, yeah, nice. So, yeah, so that was like a muster sort of thing.
Yeah, toolbox meeting, what we called it.
Okay, awesome.
But
So you
we went into everything, like
Yeah.
it wasn't just health and safety, it was whatever you wanted to bring up.
Yeah, perfect. Yeah, so you're talking about the areas that need to be improved on, areas that you guys are going good at. Do you guys also celebrate what if any of the workers have done something outstanding as well? So yeah, during that space, it's also used for celebrating or the successes of individuals as well. It's not just about talking about areas of improvement. It's also about, bringing up the strengths. So reflective practice is an important process for continuous improvement in any profession, especially mental health, though. So it allows you to analyze your past experiences, learn from them, and apply those insights to improve on future decision-making and performances, and also future interaction with clients. So identifying strengths and weaknesses. So this will help you guys as professionals to recognize areas where you can excel and areas that require improvement, and it encourages self-awareness, which is very important for effective mental health support. Another key aspect is learning from past experiences. So this is about reflecting on past cases or situations that allow for a better understanding of what worked well and what could have been done differently. And also helps in adjusting approaches to better support clients in the future. And the last one there is making improvements in work performance. So this is about, so reflection helps in refining decision-making skills, and professionals can develop strategies to handle similar situations more effectively in the future if they arise again. Okay, so I've got the question there that I have for the group. How can reflective practice help improve decision-making in mental health settings? How do you think these sessions will help decision-making in mental health workplaces? Tony?
The only real reflective practice I've encountered is through supervision or mentorship.
Yeah.
So it's actually having a team leader or a supervisor coming in and identifying not only your good strengths and what you've done well, but what you haven't done quite as well, or quite to policy or procedure, or whatever you've sort of, I hate to say, wrong. And then learning, from those past experience, maybe, you might need to brush up on your policies and procedures. You may need to, have a different outlook on something. So that's like your own self-reflective work to say, how can I make that job better, or don't make that mistake next time.
Yeah, perfect. Yeah, it's about it's not about putting people in the spotlight or trying to embarrass people. It's about improving on areas that have been identified that could be lacking some skill sets. So, for example, in my workplace, we have weekly meetings. I have weekly meetings with the supervisors that work under my supervision, and other psychologists and caseworkers and all that sort of stuff. I have weekly meetings with them. I have reflective practice meetings with them. So how I usually do it is I will talk about an incident that might have occurred in the center, and just talk about that step by step, and then talk about, okay, this is the areas that I think we excelled in, and celebrate the successes with the team, and then I'll then talk about the weaknesses as well. This is where we probably lacked in, the areas that we lacked in, and this is probably what we need to do in the future. And then we'll talk about that in an open forum. And then the next person will also bring something up that they think needs to be addressed. They'll bring up an example. They could even talk about me as their manager, saying, I think this is what happened. This is what you've done well, but I think this is what you could improve on. So it's not just about the employee, it's about the managers, the employers, it's about everyone in the process. But reflective practice in mental health specifically will help with things like enhancing professional judgment. So by reviewing past interactions with clients, professionals can refine their ability to make informed decisions. It also help with reducing biases. So reflection can help in recognizing personal biases and adjusting approaches accordingly. It will also help you in improving client outcomes, and also help you develop emotional resilience. So when you first encounter your first client in the mental health setting, there's always going to be some challenges there that you will face. But if you self-reflect or you practice reflective practice, these are all tools that will help you improve or build resilience in them areas that you may need improvement in. Okay, self-evaluation. Again, a very important part of professional development, particularly in the field that we're studying, mental health. I guess working with clients, that's one of the key skills that we're trying to teach them as well, which is self-evaluation, to be aware of themselves and their actions. So if we're not able to do that, how are we going to teach that to our clients or assist our clients in that skill? So this helps individuals assess their own performance, so your own performance, recognize your own strengths, and being honest with yourself and identifying areas that you need to improve on. So this process ensures ongoing growth and the delivery of high quality care. So if you think you're perfect, and your poo-poo smells like roses, you're not going to improve on the areas that you need to improve on. Hence, you're not going to get better as a professional in the field of mental health. So to further talk about self-evaluation, this is a method for assessing personal performance and recognizing areas that need to be developed. So it's a two-prong attack. So it's about identifying what you're good at and what you need to improve on. It also promotes accountability and self-awareness in professional practice, which is very important. Mahalia?
Hey, just with like the self-evaluation, and like, so I've got an issue at the moment with my workplace. Like I work aged care, but I've been having some issues, and trying to like sort them out. But I've had meetings with management, like it's to do with my managers, and I've just had targeted behavior from them. It's been over like 4 months. So yeah, and trying to like resolve the issue, but then, and like they keep saying to me, oh, look at what you've done, and what did you do to, cause this issue? But my
Yeah.
other thing is they won't give me this. Like I sat a couple of weeks ago, I sat in a meeting to talk to my manager, and she actually sat there, didn't say a word. And then her manager was there as well, and she was like, oh, I'll talk to, your manager alone. So like they want to now go down this like grievance pathway, but I don't know my manager's side of the story.
Yeah.
And I keep getting told, oh, just reflect and see where you can improve. But I'm like, I actually didn't do anything wrong. But they've also got an issue with me, but I don't know what it is. So self-evaluation is very hard for me when I'm like, I don't actually know what the issue is.
Well, that's right. If they're not going to be able to communicate with you effectively, then how are you going to know what their problem is? So they obviously have they have a concern about what you're doing. Is that what they're about?
No, so I've had about 3 run-ins with management.
Right.
One of them was an issue that was actually it was more of a risk to patients thing that I brought up to management and said, hey, this behavior is happening, that isn't right. And it's against policy, rah, rah, rah. It took 6 weeks for them to actually do anything about it. And then I ended up sending them an email, and basically I had a meeting with them, and all they wanted me in the meeting was to tell me that my email sounded too bossy. And I was like, fair enough, whatever. Left it. Went to another issue regarding a patient was like body shaming me, name calling. Tried to self-manage for about 6 weeks. Gave him the benefit of the doubt, him having dementia, but he clearly stated to me he knew I don't like it. But it's just the way my managers are managing it. Like I go to them and they escalate it up to their manager, and it's not, and then I got confronted outside my workplace by my facility manager while I was off shift. And she confronted me twice in the car park. And those type of issues, like, I went to her, wanted to talk to her about that meeting or about that issue. And she got really defensive and like didn't want to communicate with me. And then she got her manager involved, and it's just turned into this whole, it's affected me to the point where I'm actually not at the workplace anymore. I've gone to a different facility. Because I'm on work cover for it because it's caused so much stress and anxiety for me,
Yeah, it sounds like there was no room for self-evaluation or reflective practice in that workplace. So it's
Well,
probably
they keep asking me, well, did you do anything to cause this? I'm like, no, but you're not going to tell me if I did.
yeah. So in that situation, because it's so toxic, there's not much else you could have done but the road that you took. So you've done the right thing by going to work cover and you're in a different section in the workplace now, are you?
No, I've gone to a different town. I
Okay.
now travel half hour away just to work.
Yeah.
And
Well, look,
in a
as
different
long as you're happy in that workplace, yeah, that's what matters. I know the travel's a burden, could be a burden for a lot of people, but as long as you're happy in your workplace.
Yeah, but the thing is, like, I want to sort it out. I don't want to just move to a different workplace and the managers of my last workplace just think, oh, we can sweep it under the rug and forget about it. Because the issue was still ongoing, that I'm like, it's not resolved. I still want to have meetings with them.
Yeah, but unfortunately, some workplaces, that's how they operate. They don't want to talk about what they need to improve on. They just want to attack their staff who speak
Yeah,
up.
my doctor keeps telling me the same thing, is you're never going to get an apology.
Yeah.
And he said you're never going to get them to hold themselves accountable. That's what New South Wales Health does. It's a big organisation. It just
Yeah,
protects
and
their managers.
if they admit guilt, then they pretty much saying, that they're lost and they'll have to pay damages and that sort of stuff too. So they're thinking about the whole business side of things as well when they're making them decisions.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So thank you for that. So I think we're up to the strategies for effective self-evaluation. So some could be setting aside, setting aside a quiet time for reflection. So this will help in gaining clarity on past experience and decisions. You can also write down achievements and areas for improvement. So keeping track of progress and set goals for continuous growth, and also seek constructive feedback from peers. So this is about offering different perspectives and providing valuable insights for development. So why is self-evaluation essential for professionals working in mental health? Why do you think it's so important? So if you're dealing with a client, and you'll see these in the role plays, if you're dealing with a client that was aggressive, was bipolar, moods were changing continuously, and you just had a very hard time, why do you think self-evaluation will be so important after them sort of interactions with clients? So what I do, if I deal with a situation at work with one of the young people that I work with, and I had that situation where, it was an intense situation, and after it was dealt with, I would, when I get time, I would think about the areas that I did well in, and also the areas that I need to improve on. And I think that's important because you ensure you ensure that you've did things accordingly to the code and ethics, that you upheld your legal obligations. Self-evaluation in them times also enhance client support as well. It promotes emotional resilience, makes you stronger. Also encourages lifelong learning. The best learning is from your experience that you have on the floor, on the front line. It's all good us reading and talking about informed about all these topics in mental health, and talking about all these great psychologists who've come up with all these great methods and all that sort of stuff. But the best way, the way you're going to learn your craft as a professional mental health, is actually on the floor working with the clients. So that's where self-evaluation is very important. If you don't evaluate your experiences afterwards and try to learn from them or improve on them, well, you're not going to get much out of that experience. Okay, the reflection cycle. So reflective practice, again, is very important, particularly in mental health. So one of the most effective ways to engage in reflection is by using a structured approach, such as the reflective cycle. So this model will help professionals break down their experiences and find ways to improve on the practice. So the first stage is description. So what happened? So this is the factual step where we describe the event or situation without adding opinion or any emotion, just talking about what actually happened. And then feelings, or how did you feel about it? So here you'll focus on emotional responses to the situation, acknowledge the feelings, and help others understand how emotions impact decision making. Then evaluation. So what was good or bad about the situation? So in this step, we assess both the positives and the negatives of the experience. Then we analyze. So what did happen? Why did it happen? Sorry. So we dig a little bit deeper into the situation. We break it apart. So why did things happen the way they did? Were there any external or internal factors influencing the outcome? Then we have the conclusion. So what could you do differently if you face that situation in the future? And then the action plan. How will you improve next time? So this is where you create a strategy for future improvement. This could involve learning new skills, seeking feedback, or adjust your approach in similar situations. Okay, I'll give you guys an example. So the clients I work with, if I had a young person the other day who was refusing to go back to his room because he had a bad phone call, and he was identified as Aboriginal Torres Strait Islander young person, and he had a bad phone call. He refused to go back to his room during lockdown. I tried to negotiate with the young person to go back to his room. He didn't comply. Spoke to him about 15 minutes. Wasn't listening. Trying other methods of speaking to him and communication and this and that. Stayed calm, respected him during the whole process. He didn't end up walking, so he was refusing for about an hour. So I had to make the decision to move him back to his room by using other methods. After speaking to him when he was calm and reading his case notes and all that sort of stuff, other managers in other centers took the approach when he refused was just don't talk to him. Just leave him alone for 10, 15 minutes and then come back and talk to him and see how he goes then. And usually he walks. So that's something I reflected on later on. I thought to myself, okay, next time I deal with a client that I don't know, I best get someone to find out about them by looking up their case notes or talking to the center that they just came from and finding out as much information as they can while I talk to him. And then once I get the information, then make a better decision about what I was going to do. Okay, so that's an area where I thought I could have improved on. All right, let's have a look at the chat. Okay, let's go on to the next one. Okay, the SWOT analysis. So one of the most effective tools for self-assessment is the SWOT analysis. I'm sure you guys would have heard of this. This framework helps everyone evaluate their abilities and identify areas for improvement by looking at 4 key areas or factors. So the SWOT is an acronym for strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. And the last one, I think, is, what is it? Yeah, that's it, SWOT. SWOT, yep. So it's threats. Okay, so when it comes to strengths, this is about what you are good at. So these include professional skills, knowledge and experience, and personal attributes that contribute to success. The next one is weaknesses. So what areas do you need to improve on? So you need to recognize weaknesses. Recognizing the weaknesses will allow you to focus on areas that you need to grow. And then we have opportunities. So this is about opportunities come from external resources such as training and mentorship or policy changes. And the last one is threats. So what challenges might hold you back So this could be external or internal that limit professional progress. Examples, high caseload, burnout, or limited resources within your workplace. Okay. So the question I have for you guys, how can a SWOT analysis be used to improve performance in mental health practice? So how do you think you can use SWOT as a tool to improve your performance as a mental health practitioner or support worker? Karen?
Being aware of strengths and weaknesses, or being self-aware,
Yeah.
leads you to the avenue of improvement. And whilst you're always playing to your strengths, it's good to be aware of your weaknesses so that you can improve upon those areas.
Perfect, yeah. A lot of workplaces usually do a SWOT analysis in the beginning of the financial year. So especially management level, supervisor, management level, they'll get everyone in the room. They'll first talk about as a group what the strengths are, what our weaknesses are. They'll look at the opportunities, so what we need to do to improve on them weaknesses, and what are the things that will hold us back. And then they'll often go back and do the individual SWOT analysis as well. Okay. So for example, like a mental health practitioner who's just started in the field, who's come from a different country, who's only been in Australia for a year, works in an area where is a high number of identified clients, or Aboriginal Torres Strait Islander people, and their strength might be that they got a lot of empathy, they're passionate about the work, they've got a lot of knowledge about mental health, but a weakness could be that they need to improve on their knowledge base around Indigenous issues as well, or getting to know the Aboriginal culture. That could be their weakness, and then the opportunity would be, how could I improve on this? So they'll look for training or ask their managers for some sort of e-learning course, or ask them to provide them some resources on how they can learn a little bit more about the First Nations people. And the threat there would be what challenges might hold them back. So do they have time? Can they take time off work to do this? Can work pay for a training day for them to do extra training about learning about the cultural diversity of Aboriginal people and all that sort of stuff? Does anyone have an example of when they did use SWOT analysis? All good. Okay, seeking and reflecting on feedback. This is probably one of the hardest thing anyone can do, this unit we're covering today. So not a lot of people have time to sit down and think about themselves, and also people don't like doing it. People like to think that what they are doing is awesome, is great, and they don't make any mistakes. But for the people who sit down and are honest with themselves and look at the areas that they need to improve on, they're the ones that you will see who excel as leaders and who excel in any area that you may work in. They're the ones that identify the areas that need to improve on and tackle that. So feedback is very important as well. It allows us to gain new perspectives, recognize areas for improvement, and maintain high standards in your work. While positive feedback can be motivating, constructive or negative feedback provides valuable insights into how we can develop our skills further. So I'll ask you the question before I keep going. So what are some effective ways to handle negative feedback in a professional setting. So if someone was giving you constructive or negative feedback in a professional setting, how would you how do you think are effective ways in handling that?
Not taking it personally, I would say.
Yeah, perfect. Not taking it personal, as long as it's not personal and it's just got to do with your performance and work. Yeah. Jody?
Probably not allowing it to affect your performance.
Yeah. So staying open-minded and avoid being defensive and avoid it affecting your work, which is very hard. Even for like I work in youth justice in New South Wales in one of the correctional centers. I've been there for nearly over 15 years. And sometimes when people are telling me, oh, I think you could have done this a bit better, there's something inside of me that's saying, just shut up, mate, But I've learned over the years to, learn to take that feedback and reflect on it. Sam?
Yeah, maybe fixate on it for the next time that a certain situation happens, and that so that you remember it, and then you can apply it to the relevant situation.
Yeah, perfect. Yeah, learning from that feedback, analyzing for what it is, and the feedback might be wrong. It might be they might give you negative feedback, and then if you go back and self-evaluate it, and you honestly say, I don't think that's what happened. And if you sit down and think about it, or even write it down, this is what actually happened, and then go back to the person that gave you that feedback and say, oh, thank you for the feedback that you provided me, but I think this is what actually happened during that situation. And then, yeah, that happens a lot as well. Who else we got here? Where's all the hands? Aki?
You mean Mickey?
Yeah, it's Aki.
Aki?
Close
Yeah.
Oh,
though.
okay.
I forgive you. I like the way that you sort of answered that last question, Sam, and yeah, I think it's the way that people look at it. Look at that negative feedback, and yeah, sometimes it's just correcting the facts. Sometimes it is maybe, oh yeah, maybe I do need to change the way that I'm doing things, but I always see things as what do you call it? Critical.
Yeah.
What's the word?
Constructive feedback.
Constructive feedback. Yeah, I like looking at it that way because I don't know, I feel like it just helps you grow. And if the facts were incorrect, just correct them.
Yeah, it's important that we show that you've taken the feedback seriously, and by doing that, you show that by implementing changes, and also even seeking further guidance as well. Yasmin?
Kind of coming back to what you said a minute ago, thank the people, whoever's giving you the feedback. Maybe not focus on it being so negative, and accept it. Like if it, like you said, looking into yourself and being self-aware, and acceptance is a big deal. It's a very hard thing to do. But yeah, obviously look at it, and if it's not all your fault, but if there's areas of improvement, yeah, thank you for your feedback, accept it, and try to change whatever needs to be changed.
Yeah, excellent. Yeah, perfect. Yeah, so yeah, when people give you feedback, be calm. Don't be defensive. Listen to the information they're providing, and you never know, you might improve on the area that they're talking about, and that way you'll improve your performance as a professional as well. Alona?
Well, for me, everyone is having the entitled to give their opinion and feedback, but when for me, I'm just gonna have to appreciate the person, but I still have to look at it, and I would say to the person by saying, we all live and learn.
Yeah. Perfect.
Thanks.
That's right. No one's perfect, and we all can learn something every day. Mickey?
Yeah, because actually I got a lot of this kind of negative feedback. So what I'll do first, which is most like hardest part to do, is really I just try to detach myself emotionally, right? Because for me, if I take it personally, it's really hard to identify the problem and see the judgment in the neutral way. So I always try to just focus on the problem. So if it's giving me a feedback, doesn't matter it's negative or positive, I always just say, okay, this feedback is for the problem or is for the improvement, not like, oh, he has some problem with me. That's firstly I will do. And second, I will say, okay, if you will really give me some advice, right? Like you said, is there really a valid point, in there? If it's not, I just 1 year in, 1 year out. Because every people can see anything, okay? Doesn't mean he can truly understand where the problem stands. So I don't have to take it seriously, even though the feedback you give to me either is stupid or negative. And sometimes if I really don't understand, and some people they give the feedback is really general, right? So I will ask the person, even though maybe some people say it's a little bit intimidation, but I will ask the person that, what do you mean by that? Can you give a little bit more clarification? But I'll be polite. I will say, okay, can you just clarify it more? Can you give me a little bit details? I really appreciate your advice. I want to improve on that. I always ask people politely with that. So like you said, just try to filter the advice. Whatever is useful for me, I will take it and make good use it. Whatever is not useful to me, I just discard it in the bin. But most importantly, I will try to not take it personally and just move on. That's it.
Yeah. I really like what you said in the beginning, where you mentioned to detach yourself emotionally from that interaction you're having with the person that's giving you the feedback, which I think is really good advice. I think, yeah. So you can either detach or learn how to control your emotions when someone's providing you feedback around professional development or your professional where you need to improve on. That way you can effectively evaluate the situation better because there's no emotion attached to it as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just a small. Actually, I want to share like a small, how to say, lesson I just learned a couple days ago, and that's actually kind of renew my views about looking at things from a different angle because that was what I learned from reading um the study materials about I think stigma, right? So they tell on the article, there's a very for me, it's a very memorable sentence. It's like, sometimes instead of what stigma means, like instead of like seeing a person as a psycho, okay, or psychotic, we should say it's a person actually who is experiencing psychosis. So it's just a it's just like open my mind, right? When you call people psychotic, you are just looking at the people. But when you say this person is experiencing psychosis, this means you're separating the person from his problem. So from that angle, this is how actually I look at feedback. Not just like a personal attack. Rather than that, I focus on what this can solve, what kind of problem. Is it useful or not? Yeah.
Very good, yeah. So instead of labeling the person, you're labeling the action. So
Correct.
so if you're giving someone advice on a situation where they were very aggressive, you wouldn't say to him, "Oh man, you're angry. You're very aggressive." You would say, "I think in that situation, what you did displayed a bit of anger towards the other person. I think in future, you just need to do something else." So instead of labeling the person as something, we label the action. All right. Edward.
Something similar to what Mickey said about how like cutting off your emotions when someone gives you feedback on whatever you decide to do. Something similar because I always try to go by something that I tell myself, which is don't relate feelings to facts. You can't relate those two. 99% of the time, feelings and facts won't mix together because there's going to be some things that you don't want to hear that are true, but are true that you need to hear. So I try to cut my feelings off, like with what Mickey said, with facts, because, you know, there's no way that you're going to be able to learn anything if you always like you have to stick your feelings in with whatever you're being taught or whatever you're being given feedback on, you know. And another thing is I think it's important to not to try and be as positive about things as possible because there's too much pessimistic point of views in the world now. And people are allowed to have their like own prerogative, like their own opinions on certain things, but if you the quote of fight fire with fire doesn't make any sense in my opinion. You should fight fire with water. So whenever someone's giving you negative feedback, say things like, "Oh, thank you very much. That's very helpful. I'm grateful that you gave me that." You know, like even sprinkle even little compliments like, "Thank you. You're very open-minded and you're very like aware of certain things that I wasn't aware." You know, that sort of stuff, and that can also help them build as a character as well, not only yourself.
Yeah, excellent. Yeah. So that last point you made, very important. When someone is giving you feedback, it's very easy for people to respond negatively. And also like you said, throw fire on fire sort of thing. It's very easy for people to do that because their emotions arise and it's just human nature, isn't it?
Yeah.
When someone's giving you feedback, you take it as an attack on your
Intelligence and
understanding and intelligence and that.
Yeah.
So we got to disconnect that. So even professionally or personally, both professionally and personally, if someone's giving you feedback on something, like Edward said, you know, listen to the advice constructively, thank them for the advice, and think about what they said, and analyze it based on facts. And true is true. If it's not, it's not. Yeah.
Also, another small thing that I forgot to add in is depending on the person and also the situation of why they're acting that way, they could have a reason for giving specifically negative feedback. For example, if you're not aware of something that you're doing which is really annoying other like co-workers or your manager or like even clients and you're not aware of it, and then someone comes up to you and they're like, obviously it's not the best thing to do, but they're like very like aggressive, very like straightforward with things, that being slightly negative about it or overly negative with it, you can also understand based on that person as well. Because if it's a person that is usually calm and they act that way, you can get like, oh wow, I really did mess up in this sort of thing.
Okay. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, exactly. Sam.
Yeah, I was just thinking with that, try it like one way would be to have like solution-based thinking, right? Because someone I used to coach with said to me, like, don't tell me about a problem, tell me a solution. So when you get this type of feedback, negative feedback, there's like two things you can do, right? You can agree with it and then take it on board and apply it to, you know, whatever situation next time, or you could disagree with it and, you know, you could go back to them like it's been mentioned and say like, well, hey, you know, this is my point of view, and you know, what do you think about that type of thing?
Yeah, perfect. Thanks, Sam. All right. What's the time? 7:09. Okay. Okay, I'll cover all this. We're just behind on time a bit, guys. So let's cover this case study and then we'll have a little break. So for the new guys who just joined us today, so I do a case study also for each session where I leave you guys to discuss it as a group and talk about each question and come up with answers for about 15 minutes. And then we take a break. So the case study is Sarah is a dedicated youth mental health worker who has been in her role for several years. Recently, she has been feeling emotionally drained, struggling with fatigue, and finding it difficult to stay engaged during meetings. Her supervisor and colleagues have noticed that she appears distant and less involved in discussions. When she received feedback about her disengagement, Sarah initially felt defensive, but later realized that her emotional exhaustion might be affecting her performance. So the questions are, how could Sarah use reflective practice to manage her emotional well-being and improve her work performance? And what steps could Sarah take to prevent burnout and maintain a sustainable work-life balance in the long term? So I'll give you guys 10 minutes and then I'll come back and we'll have a break. Okay? Just make sure don't talk over each other, give everyone a chance to share their opinion, but just stick to the questions if we can, guys. Sometimes this can go off topic quite easily. So yeah, just try to keep to the topic in hand, please. All right, I'll see you guys then.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi.
Who's there? Luck.
I think she should have a rest, Sarah, and
Yeah.
meditation.
Yeah, I should just go outside for a movie or something. Just relax.
Pieces and losses. See disengage defensive.
Okay.
Does
Some
it
work-
say
some
anything
workplaces-
about? Sorry.
Sorry.
No. You go. What were you saying?
I was just going to say some workplaces have like counseling services or, free psychology sessions that can be also like anonymous as well. I just thought back years ago, I worked in a finance company and they provided that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was just gonna
Emotional.
ask, is there anything inside of the text that specifically talks about why she's feeling that, or it's just outlining like she's acting this way after this amount of time?
I think she's
There's no reason.
Just no
been in the
reason.
role
Okay.
for 7 years, and I think she's just sick of the whole show, from what I
Yeah.
gather from what it says.
All right. Okay.
I agree with Paul.
She needs to be inspired again.
Exactly. I was gonna say maybe it could be from like overload, and she just needs to, instead of, she might be like doing everything all at once, or she might be leaving everything to the last minute, or like I'm not too sure. So she might need to start like cutting things down to easier sizes to digest.
Yeah, I think, based on the case study, right? He has been in the role for several years, and clearly he's having how to say, like, say, emotion fatigue, because when you work in that kind of high pressure environment, you get mostly what you get is very negative informations, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
if you like if in long time you kind of trained in that kind of activity, obviously you're gonna get infected. So I think self-regulate is very self-regulation is very important. You have to just separate herself apart from the workplace for some time, either like kind of just to get away from that kind of activity. If he doesn't have the choice, like say take a holiday just to cool down, he has to, not has to, probably is a good way to seek for like say peer support or like say psychiatrist to get some like say counseling session for herself to talk things out, like that.
She could access her EAP, Employee Assistance Program, which pretty much everyone actually has in this field. You're
Oh,
working in
okay.
this kind of field. Most jobs or employers will subscribe to a service, which is an employee assistance program. So if you need counselling, that kind of thing, that's where you should first engage.
Yeah.
Because it's free. It's covered under your employment agreement.
Does it called like is there a terminology for that called debriefing session? Is this the word for it? Debriefing? It's like you just talk things
The
out.
EAP, it's a confidential debriefing. It's just like a counselling session
Okay.
with, yeah.
Okay,
So they
got
don't
it, got it.
report back to your employer or anything else like that.
Okay, got it, got it.
I think she needs as well some like a training on how to handle and manage the stress and fatigue. Do they provide like occupational therapies?
Yeah.
EAP, they can provide all sorts of weird and wonderful things. I don't know if OT is one of them.
Maybe also he can do is he can like try to seek a feedback, from her colleagues or supervisor, because sometimes, if you are so drained with your own situation, it's really hard to realize like how deep you have gone, how far you have gone. So by talking to a third party, maybe can kind of have a good understanding where Sarah is standing on her own feet. Then it's easier for her to find out, what's the solution for her problem from a third party's view. Maybe.
Sarah needs a holiday.
I was about to say that.
Well, she does need a holiday, but she
Need a
also needs
break.
to, it looks like she doesn't actually undertake things like reflective journaling or anything else like that. So she
Yeah.
needs to do something like that to
And it's a
Yeah.
repetitive work as well. So if it's
Yeah.
repetitive, then it's really draining.
Yep. Just day in, day out sort of thing.
Yeah, and then dealing with the mental health, that is really emotionally exhausting.
Burdening. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%.
You should have only 4 days in a week.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe she
So I
can
think
start.
with the reflective practice, like she needs to go back and sort of identify at what moment did she start feeling that, like if there was a specific time or like case
Specific
that she went through,
situation.
like, and
Yeah.
then work on that. Yeah. And like work from backwards to go forwards.
Forensically work through her stages and yeah.
Yeah.
Where is it? And also, I think he needs to discuss with her employer about, for example, working hours, maybe reduce the working hours, or some, maybe set some like more flexible, like work hours,
Yeah.
like that,
Yeah.
like a workplace adjustment,
Yeah.
like just try to reduce the workload.
or undertake something different.
Yeah. Go into a different area.
Yeah.
Okay,
If it is
yeah.
possible.
Question part 2. Sorry, guys.
Oh, good.
If we're thinking about preventing burnout as well, so clarifying all of the reflection on how she got there, initiating those self-care aspects and integrating in a self-care plan. So actively integrating mindfulness, in looking at things like sleep, how is her work-life balance being impacted, especially in the mental health field. It is such a heavy field to be a part of, that engaging in things like EAP programs are really essential, but also looking in on things like this is what we've got personal and annual leave for, is when you're starting to have those burnout moments, because that can be something that is why the career has such a huge dropout percentage. So healthy work-life balances, I think the question's asking us is how do we get there? And I think coming to it with that self-reflection of how are you spending your time outside of work? Do you bring work home with you? Are you disengaging in the workload? So if you've, say, got a huge caseload, are you then taking that emotional burden home with you as well? Or is she disengaging, she's leaving it at the office and then she's going home? I think a lot of people in the mental health field really struggle with that disengaging. So that's really essential to avoid burnout, is not spending your home life time and your personal time ruminating on work. So that could be something as far as like considering burnout is juggling that.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, guys. We'll have a break now, so we'll come back at 7:30 Sydney time, and then we'll start looking at some of the assessments. All right, I'll see you guys then.
Yeah, man.
All right, so let's look at assessment 1 for this unit, which is the online quiz. Now, we'll go for each one. I'll get you guys to answer them. If I see that you guys are dropping off and are getting a bit sick of this part and I'm answering all the questions, I'll just stop it and then we'll move on to the next assessment. I will be here to assist, but I don't want to sit here and give you guys all the answers. Okay. So outline how to keep up to date and current with sector developments. So provide at least 3 examples to support your response.
Well, there'd be an industry journal for mental health or something, I'm sure of, wouldn't there? Like
Awesome.
doctors have journals to keep you up to date with latest practices or safety measures or rules and regs.
Perfect. Excellent. That would be going above and beyond your expectations on professional developments as well. Not a lot of people are going to go back and read journal articles on the latest methods in dealing with behavioral issues, for example, and that sort of stuff. So that's an excellent example. Anyone else?
Talking to peers in the same industry.
Yeah, talking to mentors or more experienced staff members in the industry to gain further insight. Also, online forums or getting involved in groups or associations that involve mental health in the mental health industry. Someone's got their hand up. I just can't see it. Tony?
Networking with other services and stuff, like so
Yeah.
through advocacy and referrals and things like that.
Yeah, that's it. A lot of services or organizations will also send out weekly communications through emails or newsletters as well, talking about topics of the week and areas of improvement or changes to certain areas, to legislations and policies as well. There are places like Beyond Blue, and there's another one that does free online training as well, which is very it's awesome because it's free and a lot of information about a lot of topics as well. Okay. Describe how you have used a mentor to support your professional development. Explain how this helped you achieve your personal or professional goals. Tony.
Like I said, my mentor was through supervision, and through not only self-reflection, but trying to better myself as a worker for not just myself, but the organization and the client I'm dealing with. but through self-reflective, make sure I better myself sort of every day. It's like doing something new every day will, yeah, and practice what you put it into practice every day, so it becomes more natural.
Awesome. So yeah, so you use that person to identify areas where you needed to improve on,
Yes.
and you work on improving every day. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, a mentor brings the best out of someone, don't they? That's their reason, their Waterloo, so to speak.
Yeah. That's right, yeah. They're there to, like you said, bring out the best, highlight the areas that you're good at, and also help you out with them areas that you're not so good at, and work on some strategies and ideas on how to improve on them. Deborah?
Yeah, I was just going to say, so if you have a colleague that you can use as a mentor, then you can like observe them, see how they do things. You can reflect that onto how you do them yourselves. You can make adjustments to your own techniques, and also just get feedback from them as well if they've been in the industry for longer.
Perfect. Thank you. All right, let's go on to 3. Explain why having a mentor is helpful in your future career. Very similar to the past question. So I'll just, the areas that you need to cover for this question is to provide things like, think about why would it be so helpful to have someone that's experienced in mental health to mentor you. So they could obviously provide you with the opportunity to talk about any issues or worries that you have. You can learn from their own experience that was mentioned before. You can obtain their opinions, and they will, of course, expose you to new ideas and the ways of thinking as well. Tony?
You could also like shadow that person if you don't feel comfortable in certain situations.
Yeah. Perfect. Yeah, definitely. Doing body shifts with the mentor, for example, working with a client and just watching how they interact with the client and the way they speak to them, how they display active listening, how they paraphrase what the clients are saying, identify triggers, identify areas that they need to improve on, and yeah, excellent, very good example. All right, number 4. Explain how you will ensure your knowledge and skills are current throughout your career. How do you think people do this now in mental health industry? Karen?
They have a continuous professional development plan.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
Most people would have a number of conferences that they would want to attend, or seminars that they want to, listen to online or something like that over a 12-month period, and each employer should facilitate that kind of engagement.
Yeah, perfect. Yeah, so regular development sessions, like you said, also training, refresher trainings around certain topics, and online training or online forums as well, where professionals get together and speak about challenges and new areas of improvements and other things as well. Tony?
Also to keep track of like your annual like courses and stuff, like first aid, mandated reporting, all that sort of stuff.
Excellent.
So you know when to keep them up to date.
Yep, definitely. Okay, let's go to number 5. Describe an example of how you could demonstrate each of the following legal and ethical consideration within your professional practice. So let's start with code of practice. Describe an example of how you can demonstrate each of the following legal and ethical considerations within your work, your professional practice?
Well, you must give the client the best advice and treatment and assistance that's to your capability.
Yeah, definitely. That's one way. That's a good example to demonstrate kind of practice. What about duty of care, guys? That could probably
Yep.
fall under duty of care as well. Another one, Tony?
For duty of care, it's more so of letting the client know that you have a duty of care to them, but you can also break confidentiality on certain aspects, whether they're like duty of care harming themselves or put harm to someone else, or if they sign a confidentiality break agreement to say I can advocate to someone else. Otherwise, it's all confidential.
Yeah. Perfect definition, but just with these, with the answers for these, they want you to provide examples as well. So just make sure you're providing examples instead of the definition. So just think about a situation in your experience in the workforce where you had to display duty of care. Karen?
What if you've basically never had to display a duty of care?
That's all right. Just make one up.
That's where this is so difficult for me.
Yeah, just do the best you can. I'm sure there would have been a moment in your life where you thought, no, this is the right way to do it, and I'm going to do it because it's duty of care. I have a duty of care for the client or the customer that I do it this way. For example, if you're working in retail or in the supermarkets and you see a bottle of Coke on the floor and you walk past, you're like, oh, I better move that away. It's my duty of care to put that back in its spot because someone might trip on it. So it's my duty of care to make sure that's taken care of. Yeah, but yeah, you're right. So to give a specific example.
Demonstrated each of the following legal and ethical, where you've demonstrated the duty of care within your professional practice. So where you've demonstrated the rights and responsibilities as a school age educator in an education and care service.
Yeah, that one. So I wouldn't have example, but like myself personally, because I've never worked as an educator in a school age facility. So just make one up. What rights and responsibilities as a school age educator? You could probably say something like,
I have demonstrated the rights and responsibilities as a school age educator.
yeah, I would look. You would obviously right there. Look, I've never done this. I've never worked in this industry in the answer, and then just maybe write. This is an example of one that could come across. So you could write something like,
I imagine I could come across seeing a child who has a bruise on their face or something like that, and I've mandatorily reported it.
Yeah, that's it. So yeah, or even child fell down, tripped over a branch, and yeah.
OHS, okay.
Yeah, Mickey.
Yeah, I have never worked in like school age, but I have a kind of limited experience of the childcare service. So yeah, so for example, let's say you can conduct like say regular safety checks in the classrooms, like say supervise the children during different activities, and also like say report if there's any hazard or concerns, for example, to your supervisor or to the right authorities. I think this is just like a duty of care. So even though you haven't worked in that situation, I think just by general sense, you can have a little bit of imagination. Like for example, in a school environment, I say what are the hazards that they may face, and if that happens, what is my duty of care, something like that.
That's it. Thank you. But it was a good question as well. I think I'll get that edited because that is a bit confusing. But yeah, just for you guys, just give an example. If you don't have an example, most of you won't have an example for that. Just make one up that will be relevant to it. Or if you've got an example like Mickey that's close to that industry, provide that as well. All right, let's go on to number 6. Explain how you can network with other sector professionals. Provide at least 3 examples. Mickey? Oh,
Network with other sector professionals. So one example I can have is we always can hold that kind of workshops. So what happened is this a kind is good way to network with people in different field. So depending on what kind of a workshop you're gonna go to, or sometimes you can join different like you mentioned before, like the kind of online like forum. So based on your own interest or intention, you can also join different like forum discussion. I think this can be a good way of networking with other sector professionals.
perfect.
And also I think in especially I'm doing the trauma-informed care. I think this year online itself in Australia they just hold a very big conference. I think now you're available to watch it on the YouTube. It's a very big conference in whole is for the whole psychological sector. So they have a different professionals, let's say speech therapy, some of them in like say autism and ADHD. So you can have a wide exposure to all those kind of professionals, in different field.
Yeah, it's awesome. There's a lot of resources out there that are free as well, like seminars, webinars as well, where you get professionals with a lot of experience talking about subject matters as well, like you just shared with us. Let's go on to 7. So what additional training could you undertake to complement or enhance your current skills for community service work or mental health work? At least 3 examples.
Use multimedia, like oh geez.
You're talking about online learning?
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of workplaces will have integrated e-learning systems where you'll have like modules to complete every month. Yeah. What you guys are doing right now is professional development as well. This completing Cert for mental health would be a good example. Short courses, seminars again, even things like training in first aid or mental health first aid, which I recommend you guys to complete as well if you've got time.
Yeah.
Try to do the first aid mental health certificate as well. It will help you guys out a lot during crisis situations. Okay, describe your preferred learning style and explain why is this effective. So I'll leave this for you guys to answer. This is about your own personal learning style and explain. If you don't know too much about it, go online, search the learning styles and just read them, and then you'll find the one that relates to you. Mickey?
Sorry, I think I just forgot to press the button, so it keeps showing that I raise hand. So yeah, for this one, I think like you said, we can do our own research. But personally, I prefer like happy and short session. That's what I prefer.
What
Like
do you
happy.
prefer?
I prefer that kind of like a combined with games or combined with like say role plays rather than just read PPT or just like simply reading. I like that kind of interaction with people. I prefer
Are
that.
you providing me constructive feedback now, or?
Yeah, you can take it that way. No problem.
I'll take that on board. I'll think about it. Jackie?
I was just wondering, is this question like referring to if you're a read-write learner or like an auditory learner, like things like that?
Yeah. I know when you look up on the internet, there's 1,000 different styles and people have different interpretation and names for them. which is fine. Just choose the one that's related best to you. Yeah.
Okay, thanks.
All good. Tony.
I muted myself. Now this question is actually in the learner's guide.
Good.
The answers for this question, and there's 7 learning styles.
Okay.
What
page?
Page 25, and it's 2.5, understanding your personal learning style.
Okay, page 25, guys.
Yeah, because the next question
23.
Depends how you print it, I think.
Okay.
Because I print mine out.
It's between 23 and 25.
Yeah. It's under the professional development section anyway. And so I've got my learning style because I thought it was similar to, like, do you prefer to reading or writing, or, write it down, read it, write it down to, remember it. And then I actually got to this part in the learning material. So the next question is the one I'm stuck on, because I don't have 2 people to ask their learning style. I've only got one.
Okay, very good. All right.
Yeah, my computer works now, so you can ask me again later.
Okay, thanks, Sam.
Okay. Let's go on to number 9. Identify the learning styles of 2 peers you work closely with and explain how you could help improve their learning experience.
Yes.
Okay.
So I've got one person that just need another person. And Sam's offered to help me out, I believe.
Yeah, that's good. I'll give you guys an example of one. So maybe kinesthetic learner. So providing them with tangible objects or scenarios that involve a hands-on experience when explaining new concepts. So some people are hands-on, so they prefer, something to fidget with while they're learning. So maybe provide the group with some toys or some items they can use while I'm trying to interact with them. Could be a way. Let's go on to one more. Then I want to cover the role play. So I'll do one more question. Explain how you would learn. Explain how we learn through feedback and reflection. Why is this important? Explain how we learn through feedback and reflection, and why is it important?
Well, we're taking into account all our experiences, our mistakes, and we're constantly filtering a better, safer, more efficient way.
Yeah. So yeah, we're learning off our experiences, other people's experiences, their opinions. And like you said, we learn by talking, by communicating with one another, and also self-evaluating that information that was provided as well, and dissecting that information and trying to figure out which areas we need to improve on and see if it's actually valid as well. And then what we do is we do an action plan and on how to improve on them areas. So we need to identify things that will perform well as well, and identify areas for improvement is very important. All right, let's talk about role plays. I'm pretty confident you guys will be all right with these ones. If not, you can always email me and I can help you guys out. So there's only 4 questions left there. So let's go to the role-playing assessment, which is task 3. Now there's 2 parts to this. So part A is refer to the email that you have received from your supervisor, Monica Ernest. Provide at least 4 reflective points based on the feedback received. complete client feedback report. So you got to read the scenario and the email and fill this out, I'm pretty sure. Let's open it up. Yeah. Okay. So provide at least 4 reflective points based on your feedback. So pretty much you just got to read all that and fill this out. Okay. So that's first part. The second part, which is the fun part, is the role play. Let's read the instructions first, and then we'll go through the other instructions. All right. So all right, so you'll be observed participating in a role play to confirm you can perform the industry standards and expectations. You will demonstrate how you can engage in reflective practice to identify areas for professional improvement. This task has 2 steps. Read the email below and follow the instructions given by a workplace supervisor to complete a self-reflection using the 2-way feedback template. Engage in a role play where you will share your self-reflection and receive feedback from your workplace supervisor. Provide the role play instructions to the person playing Monica. This role can be played by another learner in your class, family member, friend. You can record this session with Zoom. I would use Zoom. I wouldn't worry about WebEx. Your role should be no greater than 15 minutes. So anywhere between 5 to 10 minutes is very good. Okay. I wouldn't go longer than that. So for this, to pass this, you need to do the recording, attach the recording, and also attach the completed 2-way feedback template, which you will find through First Access. For those, the new guys. So Tony, how do you get onto First Access?
You go back when you're actually out of your assessment section. So you would close this.
Yep.
And then you go to open up the Cert for mental health tab on the left-hand corner without all your courses, and it will come up with resources. And you tip on there, all your templates, learning guides, everything's in there.
All right, perfect. Let me see if I can search this actually. Let me have a look. Resources, resource library, advanced search. So on my side. Oh, that's all right. So for the new guys, like Tony said, there will be where the resources are. You could search in the resources. Is that right, Tony?
Yes, everything's in there that you need, all the forms.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you just turn them from PDFs into Word files.
Thank you, Karen.
I just put in the search row First Access, and it brings up a Word document that you can download, and then you get the password and the username and password to get into the First Access site.
Yeah.
So if you go into Hader Education, you just type in the search thing, First Access, it will bring that up.
Thank you. So this role play is between you and Monica Ernest, which is your supervisor. So the person playing Monica could be a friend, a family member, or anyone, or another student. So there's got to be 2 of you in this role play. So you should act, the person who's playing Monica needs to act engaged and excited for the student to improve their practice, provide what they're doing and getting better all the time. This role play is a supportive role play where you should nod and smile and provide affirming feedback. So this is not really important. this part. The part that's the person that's going to be being assessed is you. So you just got to come up. So the person, let's go back here. Okay, this is some feedback from here. Okay, so I've received verbal feedback from one of your clients that I'd like to share with you because of our privacy policy. I can't share their name, but I expect you will know the origin of this feedback when you read through the comments. I received the feedback via phone call, so I've taken the liberty to write it down in our feedback reflection template. The way we deal with this kind of feedback is for a person that receives it to take some time to reflect on the situation and respond from a place of openness and collaboration. The point is to reflect without being defensive, take time to be empathetic to the client's situation and what they are feeling and experiencing in life. Take some time to be yourself, challenging, very rewarding. Okay. All right. So look at this one. Two-way feedback template. Okay. Okay, so you need to fill this out. Make sure you fill out all the spots there. During the role play, you need to display the following. So during the role play, the assessors will be looking at that you've done the following. So discussing the evaluation and feedback with the supervisor. So having a two-way conversation with the supervisor. Oh, sorry, Karen, did you have a question?
No,
Oh, okay.
sorry.
That's all right. Engage in reflective discussion in an open and evaluative style. So don't get defensive about what Monica is saying. Take the information constructively and work towards a solution. Recognize the impacts of values, beliefs, and behaviors on the practice. Engage in a two-way communication. So make sure we are assessing you, but we're also assessing your ability to listen and actively listen as well. So your body language is very important, eye contact and all that sort of stuff. Identify a plan for improvement of own practice based on feedback, access and review on current or emerging sector developments, and identify how you could use these improve your practice. So come up with some ideas on how you can improve the area that you need to improve on, and participate in the review process to upgrade skills. So that is pretty much what we're doing with the reflective practice anyway. And document the feedback received during this discussion. So that's the two-way feedback template that you'll be completing. So how you would prepare for this is you could write a script, okay? The scripted part for Monica, you give it to the person that's playing Monica, so they can read off this, they can read script, that's no problem. But for you, you can't read off a script. You got to treat it like a real life situation where you're actually talking to a supervisor and you're talking through an area of improvement and how you need to improve on. How you, talk about strategies on how you're going to improve on that. Any questions, guys, on the role play? Let me just look at the chat.
So we're having an opportunity to do this role play next week in class, right?
Either next week or the week after.
Okay, sounds good.
Yeah, so we'll definitely do it during the 3 weeks. So other things when you do role plays is you need, so for example, this is what you need to do before every role play as the learner. So if I'll pretend that I'm the learner. I'll say, hi, my name is Cheyenne Erdodo. I'll be doing role play tasks 3 or 4 for unit CHCPRP003. Reflect on and improve own practice. I'll be playing the role of Justin, is it?
Yeah, that's
Thank you. Yep. Justin, this is my ID. and just show it on the screen clearly, and then say, my friend over here will be playing the role of Monica Ernest, and then you just start the role play. The other person doesn't need to be on camera, but as long as we can hear their voice clearly. I would prefer, when I'm marking, I would prefer to have both of you on camera, because I want to see the interaction that you're having with the person as well. So on a one-on-one basis, you don't really need to have the second person on camera. But if there's more than one person that's involved in the role play, you need them on camera, because we can't tell if someone else is faking a voice or things like that. So we need to see everyone that's involved in the role play on camera if there's more than 2 people involved. Okay. Jodie?
Oh, sorry, I think you just answered the question. So it's Justin. So we are actually saying that we're Justin, not Jodie in this role play.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
Thanks.
That's a good question also, because we've had in the past where people have done a terrific job in the role play, but they've changed the names in the that were in the role play. So they've used their own names instead of using the names in the in the scenarios. So please don't do that. Just follow what the instructions to the T. So if your name's Monica and you're a male, well, you have to be Monica for this role play. So yeah, just make sure you guys do all the little things as well. I'm just thinking if I've got I'm pretty sure I've done this role play before with someone. I'm just gonna have a look. CHCPRP003. Let's have a look if this is the one I did. Any other questions, guys, while I look up the role play?
So are we writing a script for Monica? Like each of us have to write our own thing, or there's actually something in here where the other person has already got a script?
Yeah. So some of the role plays have word for word what you can say for the person that's playing the client or playing the other role. But for some they don't. So you just got to, it's just talking about, for this one you just got to make it up, but it's got to be based on the areas that you need to improve on. So I'll give you an example. Let me play this. I'm pretty sure I did this with a student. 1 second. So what I did with the student is I came up with my own questions. So I had about 5 or 6 questions that I asked the person that was playing the role about the topic, and then she just answered them for me, and then that's how we did it, the role play. I've just got to double check if this is the right one. Can you just state your full name, please?
My name is Saman Hassan.
Saman Hassan, okay. Can you just show your ID on the screen for me? Just a bit closer.
That's not on our screens, Kane.
So, sorry?
That's not actually on our screens.
Yeah, I'm just checking if it's the right
Okay.
role play. We are here to do task for unit CHCPRP003, the role play task. Perfect. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So this is the role play for this task. So I'll just play it for you guys, and then we'll come back. I'll come back, and we'll talk about it. So I'll be playing Monica. And who will you be playing?
I will be playing
What's her name? The staff member.
So you'll be playing Monica, and there's yeah.
All right. So this is the start of our role play. So I'm just going to introduce myself, and then I'll make the first statement, and I'll ask some questions. Okay?
Okay.
Okay. Hello, Simon. Thanks for coming in. I really look forward to discussing your first few months with the organization. I've noticed how hard you've been working and how dedicated you are in building relationships with your clients. But today I'd like to go through some feedback that you've prepared, as well as the feedbacks that we've received from others. So this will help us identify your strengths and explore areas for further development together. Does that sound good to you?
Yes.
Okay. So, so I see that you've mentioned your strengths in building rapport and adapting to change. Can you share how you feel these skills have impacted your work and your clients and the experience of your clients?
Well, I think they've impacted my clients because um
All right, so
I
yeah,
think my clients because there was quite a bit of challenges in the role,
yeah,
and I also had difficulty keeping on top of paperwork, and I didn't have really good time management skills.
mm-hmm.
Yeah. Is
Yeah.
that
So, what do you think is so important about building rapport with clients?
it's important to build rapport with clients so we know where we stand, and also it's important to build rapport with clients because we need to know what the situation is and how we could actually address the situation.
Perfect. Very good. So you've just mentioned something about challenges in terms of paperwork and feeling a bit overwhelmed at times. Could you tell me a bit
Yeah.
about this? Yeah. And what did you do
Um,
to overcome this?
well, maybe the thing that I did is try to focus on bettering my time management skills and trying to uh, uh, become more available, I guess, and trying to kind of take my time to go through paperwork and adjust to the paperwork of each clientele, and in terms of the role, in terms of my role in this job, and also trying to build, trying to get the opportunity to also build the rapport with the clients.
Yeah. Awesome. Very good. Um, so what would you say that your top priorities are for improving right now? So as a whole, do you have any specific goals you'd like to set for yourself for the next few months?
Just to keep on top of the workload and the role, and also trying to focus my energy on keeping up with my time management skills and trying to build effective time management skills, and also making sure that the clients are not kind of not really disappointed with my service to them, and also making sure that I become more adaptive in the role.
Awesome. Do you have any examples? I know I've read your emails and I've seen your work during the 3 months. Is there any examples that come to mind about positive feedback that you've received from clients or other colleagues?
Yeah. Like for example, just I would say like speaking up for the clients and their situations and try to um make sure I kind of like reach out to the clients as much as I can,
Mm-hmm. Very good.
and trying to keep on top of the opportunities that I have to succeed in this role.
Yeah, very good. So yeah, so you're a voice to your clients and you try to stay connected with them, which is the feedback
Yes.
we've been getting as well. So
Yes.
awesome. What about I know you've mentioned before that you want more connection with your colleagues. Are there any specific ways you think we could make this happen, or any activities that might help?
I guess like mostly the icebreaker type of situations, like we could have a little bit of games, just to get to know each other, working on projects together in terms of building that connection with your colleagues and trying to just understand each person and how they work and how they are as a whole individual. So that that is how I will build rapport with my colleagues.
Very good. Very good. Okay, 1 second. I think I've got one more for you, and then. All right. Do you have any feedback for me as a supervisor?
I think that you have some really good points that you made clear to me in the emails, and there's some things I definitely have to work on, and there's some things where I can improve on to make sure I utilize my position correctly in the most professional manner that I can. And yeah, it's important that you keep giving me feedback so I can actually improve and do better in my role.
Thank you. Okay, very good. All right. What about personal values? So your personal values and beliefs align with the organizational goals, or we hope they do. Can you talk a bit about the values that you bring to the role and how they can help you connect with the clients?
Um, Personal values. Well, I kind of just believe that just treat everyone with respect and you know, the energy that you put out, it is the energy that you want from people is basically what you try to put out as well. The energy that you put out, it kind of just comes back to you in a way. So it's very important to just like, show yourself and speak up for yourself, and also um like be upfront, I guess, in a way. And if you have any challenges and if you have any concerns, you need to make sure that you actually talk about it uh, with the people, like for example, with a supervisor or a manager, because it's important to not let it get to you and cause you stress, because it's very important that we actually discuss issues so we can actually do better. And that's the very most important thing. And that's my values when it comes to my position, is making sure that I do better and I do better for myself and I do better for everyone else. Yeah.
Very good. All right. Very good. So I appreciate for you for coming and meeting with me today. I really appreciate your openness in discussing these points and for the feedback you've given. Like I said, I'm here to support you. I look forward to seeing you on how you'll continue to grow in your role. Let's set up another follow-up in a few months and see how things will progress and to keep refining your goals. I think that's the best way to go. Thank you for your hard work and dedication as well. So good work, Simon.
Thanks.
Okay. I hope that provides a little bit of guidance for you guys. This one is a little bit tricky as there's not enough instructions, but it's also a good thing as well. You can script it the way you want as well. Like you can decide how it's gonna, what topics you want to talk about and this and that. Again, just make sure you're not reading off the script word for word. You can have some notes in front of you and you know, go off your notes here and there. That's fine. Sam?
Yeah, can we use your part for whoever's playing Monica, like the line of questioning, like that you did?
Yes.
Okay.
That's
good to know.
That's fine as long as it's as long as you're responding. You can use the questions, just don't word for word what I said. If you know what
No problem.
Yeah, all good. So this session is recorded, so you'll have access for the role play when you get the copy of the recording as well. Any other questions, guys, on assessments, role plays, or anything? Mickey?
Yeah, I think I have asked the similar question before, so I just want to reconfirm here. So all the questions is like, oh, sorry, all the assessment are self-paced, right? Because I'm kind of a little bit behind on the schedule, so I just
That's fine. You can do so you got 12 months to complete the qualification. In what order you do the assessments is completely up to you.
Okay, because I think the assessment are released based on the lectures being given. So for example, now I think this a brand new subjects, right? So when there is a brand new subject that got released out, and then there will be like a full assessment related to that topic.
Yeah.
I think this is how the structure of the course. So now I think this is the third, I think this is third subject that we have now, or the fourth one.
That you would, everyone's different because everyone starts.
Oh, okay, sorry.
Yeah, so everyone starts in different points.
Different time. Oh, okay, okay.
So there'll be students who started today and their first unit would be this one now, CHCPRP003.
Oh, okay. So basically, for different students starting different time, actually it will be different order for them of the study.
The order will be different. Yeah, because their starting point would be today. So they'll be starting this unit, yeah.
Okay, so let's say for the student who started today, that's gonna be their first unit. But for me who started a little bit earlier, let's say this will be my third or fourth unit, like that.
Correct, yeah.
Okay, got it. Because that's why I keep wondering why like the other students have questions about other units I have never heard before. It's like, are we supposed to have the second question? I was like, okay, got it.
All good. Good question.
Yeah, all good. Thank you.
All good. All right. So what I'll do is next week I'll because I've completely forgot about this role play, I'll have a good look at this for next week, and I'll have clearer instructions on how you guys should tackle this. And then for week 3, we'll do the role plays. I'll get the names that are willing to do role plays in week 3, and I'll facilitate them for you guys. The ones who feel they're not ready, there's no pressure. You don't have to do them. You can do it at your own time. You can do it with your friends and family. That's completely fine. There's no pressure to do them with me or during class. I'm just providing an extra avenue for you guys to get it done, so you don't have to worry about it later on. But again, it's completely up to you. Okay. And yeah, I'm not going to expect you guys to do it in front of the class as well. So I'll put you guys in breakout rooms where it'll just be two of you. as well. So there's not going to be people watching you or anything like that. So don't worry about that. What else? I think that's it. That's all from me for today. I think we've covered a lot. You guys done really well. Thank you for engaging with the questions, getting involved with the assessment questions as well, which makes it a lot more helpful for me as well. As long, more of you guys engage with the session, the better for the flow of it, and the more we learn together as a group. So if you guys got no more questions, I'll end the session now. I will have a bit of early mark. It's 8:30 anyway. All right, I'm just going to end the recording now.